Three. Hey guys, welcome to In Motion podcast. Right now we are on one of our segments of what we call motion shorts. Now it's called motion shorts because we are still putting ourselves in motion, but we are putting things on a very smooth path. We're going to be on a direct path. Hopefully by mid-September, we'll be starting our first episode. But as of right now, we're trying to kind of build you guys in of what we're about and what we're trying to go for and what we're trying to get involved in, like divide, conquer, not like that diabolical conquer, but you get what I'm saying. We're showing what we're about today. And with me here today is Mr. John Vincent from the Funhouse. How you doing today, John? What's life like?
Hanging in there, bro. Just you know, another day in paradise. Glad to help you out tonight. I know I had a private engagement and show, so I'm sitting in, and hopefully I do the show's justice.
Oh no, I got it. No, I appreciate that, John. So like there's so much that's going on. So right now, what I wanted to kind of jump into is something called, building motivation. And the reason for that is I understand that we all have a different what motivates us, what wants us to come to exactly what it is and what we want to do. But like what helps you? What helps you get out of that twin bed in the morning? What brings you to the motivation that you want to do in this daily life? Whether it's like go take a walk for 6 hours every like 5 days a week, however, or you want to just do something that's like even like smaller or bigger that just helps you be you or want to build you as a person. So when I say build motivation, I mean what motivates you to want to be a better you. So now, John, is there anything what helps motivate you be the type of person you want to be? Is there anything you want to like touch up on what helps build you?
Well, my motivation is creativity. I try and think of new things to do each and every day to more or less progress with my crafts. Whether it be I'm doing photography, videography, engineering, music, whatever the case may be. And that's my daily. Just trying to be the best at what I can be, and try and think of new innovative ideas to make that craft better. That's pretty much me.
Oh, not okay. Like I said, so I get the whole creativity part because honestly, I'm all about creativity myself. And what it comes down to is like whether you have the mobility to actually, put things in motion. Like it's okay to dream, it's okay to have those things, but like you ever heard the term, make your dreams a reality? I think you heard in every Disney movie in every way as possible. I swear to God, I could probably pop up any Disney movie and be like dreams of reality, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Lion King. But like it just goes without saying. Like, these sometimes little things, like honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, Disney just grabbed my heart in some way. It really brought something. But like as I got older, it's like, okay, Disney is Disney. But like at the same time, it does point a message. It's just a TV show, it's just a movie. But it does point a message that, work hard and you're definitely going to get to exactly where you need to be. But so with that being said, building motivation is not just something you can just pull out of the sheets and just be like, oh, okay, this is what's going to do. There has to be some emotional thought behind it. It has to be like a process that's been building, and it has been building from the ground up, from like when you were like preschool to elementary school. And it just has to keep going and going because, like, you know what? Sometimes you think your motivation is like, oh, okay, I made a macaroni salad. I made a macrame, with glue and dried pasta. You ever did that before? I mean, like, I feel like we all like went to some kind of art class, and today, it's like, did your art teacher ever say, oh, what would you imagine? You like imagine yourself in 5 years. Like, how many times have you heard that saying? What would you do in the next 5 years from now? And I'm not talking about the next 5 years from elementary school, but like, the next 5 years from like when you're ready to get in the world. So most likely, you'll probably hear that question in like high school or something, because after high school, it's like you're on your own, son. That's it. That's
Right.
that's what's going down.
It's more or less your boot camp high school. I mean, like you're just trying to figure out where you're going in life. I mean, some people, they go on to a higher learning, they go to college, they go to a trade school, or they go right out into the workforce, and then there is a million different side hustles. Never really go with your passions. That makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying.
They get lost in the shuffle somewhere, which, I was lost in that shuffle for many years. Didn't really get a chance to follow up on photography until probably about 2005, maybe. And, then I've been doing what I'm doing ever since. Things get great at one point, like when you're that hot new photographer, and it taper off.
Mm.
You'd be surprised that in that world, getting so many people want to work with you because they have perfect, but you put a couple things out, and now you're some bad genius.
No.
Even when I was putting together my podcast, like I told you, that was started out as a product of me being secondhand stoned one night. I was at my friend's recording studio. They were all smoking, whatever. I got fumigated per se, and then I picked up my phone and I go, right, we got to do this now. And I did a walkthrough and showed all my new surroundings, when we were going to broadcast, who was going to be on the show that night. 1,000,001 messages later, bam, Fatty's Funhouse was born. And then I did premiere. It basically outdid every one of this guy's podcasts that were on his show. Tried to sign me to the contract. Still 50% of nothing was only in that infant stage, And at that point, it didn't make it out of the infant stage because I stopped it after the second episode. And, I didn't broadcast. I mean, I did little Facebook lives here and there, but nothing of what I accomplished now in the last 2.5 years. So, and we're coming back in September, and it's going to be a nice full season. That's going to be that.
So there's going to be a general trade. So there's, as you can see, as I heard, there's definitely been some history on how that's been performed and how that's gone about. It seems like there was, some trial and errors. I mean, what area of growth and building does not have trial and errors? If you don't have any trial and errors, if you don't expect there's going to be something that doesn't work along the way, then you're really asking for nothing to be produced. And along with that, it's just there's some commitment base that really shows, because honestly, it's most people, and this is just my personal, from what I've seen, most people, they start something, they're and it's it's just a thought in my head. But now, do you really want to actually try to make that happen? And if you do, what kind of steps are you going to take? Some people think it's just easy. Oh, it's I'm just going to come up with an example. Some people okay, so I saw this thing on YouTube. Yes, I saw something on YouTube, and it was just basically it's just kids just talking about, what's your craziest drink you ever tried? And I'm not talking about alcoholic drink. I'm talking about lemonade, soda, And it was just about just them mixing what mixed drinks you would have, mixed Pepsi, mixed Sprite, mixing different drinks to see what it sounds kind of weird, but you know what? It was just a start for these kids, But the thing is, and for that, it came along with that, and I don't know if it's still a thing now. I haven't really checked the whole YouTube craziness, but the point is, did it grow into something bigger? But the thing is, And that's where a commitment part stands. Like, okay, something's weird, something's not unnecessary then, but like, what does it become when you continue the process? And this is the part where it's like, you shouldn't start giving up on the idea, or else, you know what? There was never a building process to begin with. So, like, the fact that you had trial and errors as it was going, and that you're still making it happen, and we have, as we heard here today, ladies and gentlemen, a season 2 for Fatty's Funhouse. Is that correct?
Actually, the new season is season 6.
Season 6. So there's been a couple others before
Yeah.
that. All right. So
what I do is I run 4 months on, and maybe about a month off, and this way it gives me time to regroup, new guests, new people co-hosting with me, stuff like that. Which this season I'm going by myself, straight up, and just guests, which I like that idea, because this way, with less distraction, it's more me, more getting my word out there. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
which is what I should have been doing years ago. And I feel that if you're in on it with a couple of solid people, it's one thing. But you're doing it with a bunch of, say, if you're doing it with a bunch of fly-by-nighters, doesn't work, because it's going to wind up being a disaster in the end. See, like when I was starting out, a thought became an idea became a reality, and like there really wasn't much of a thought process in between the idea and the reality. It's just like, all right, let me put it out there, see if I could get a guest on. Fortunately, I was able to land a national celebrity and a little bit of eye candy. And and it really just gelled the way I wanted it to. Now, like with the way you're structuring your show, everybody has a different idea. This is a niche business, podcasting.
Of course.
You're you got to sell, your idea to people, and obviously your niche is motivational speaking, life coaching, which I don't care who you are, everybody needs it, especially in today's society.
So let me put a touch up on what you just mentioned, is that when you said everybody needs it, you don't know how many times that I've gotten like word or people say, like, like I'm getting into life coaching, and they're like, wait a minute, they exist? Like when people hear that, they think we're a myth. They think we're like legends or something like that. And I'm not trying to gain like a prideful like but like people are like, no, I get it. It's like, and then when they say, it's like, okay, I really need life coaching. You know how many people I hear say, like, every time I mention I'm doing life coaching or I'm like at it, or like people's like, oh, so you're, I definitely need a life coach, and I definitely need to get things in my life turned around.
Right.
So like, I have psychology, I major in psychology, so I'm just like, okay, so that's just like my point of field. But it's just that like I'm just surprised to hear that so many people are just like don't believe that life coaching is a thing. And I was like, it is a thing. Like people go to physical therapy, and then you got people going to therapy, and like that's just like that's common. That's common.
Right.
Like, it's not like, it's good, but like people know about it, and people don't like stretch it out. It's like, oh, I need physical therapy. Well, unfortunately, you only need physical therapy if you're going through a situation, and then you need therapy. You're just crazy. And, are we all crazy a little bit inside? But
at some point, yes. But let me say this, like, okay. Now I'm going to say this is going back to maybe 2016, somewhere in that neighborhood, that I was in therapy for a little while. And the first therapist that I had was an older woman. She was substantially older than me. I generally adapt better to older people. You know, they're a bigger help to me than somebody, you know, younger, fresh out of school. Which this lady that I was going to, we were actually making progress in the program that I was running through. They had replaced her. Long story short, you know, I had stopped going because the new therapist was basically of no use to me. Number one, because she was younger, I felt that she didn't have enough life experience. And we had really nothing to talk about because I felt she wasn't going to help me in the manner that I needed.
Now, about that, now, and I'm not going like against what you said. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, that's your experience to compare to what there was. But like, yes, I understand the idea is that like, you know, you're older, you know, you have more experience, you're younger, you know, you have less experience. But like, I want to say the majority of that is true. But like at the same time, I feel like that should be more people would be tested on the idea if that's the case because there are some younger people who are more wise than you think these days. Like in today's society, from what I see, like you know, I've come across like some teenagers who are like more smart. Like, and I'm just saying, like, said that, like, and I'm just gonna say this personally. You know, I was at on the deck, and then I was at Driftwood, Patricia's, and I've trained people like teenagers who are like literally a lot wiser than I had expected them to be. You know, like, you know, I was teaching about the system we run, you know, how we do it, how we approach customers and, you know, different areas. And a lot of them were like right on task with it. Like, you know, I didn't have to say, you know, I didn't have to like correct them or anything. Maybe once, but like I didn't have to correct a whole lot of like, you know, I'm sitting here going in here, train these guys, and I'm expecting to correct them like multiple times. But like realistically, I've only trained, you know, I've did it only had to say it about to them once, and like the rest, they got it. And I'm not just gonna go out with names or anything.
Of
but
course
like,
not.
yeah, no. But like, you know, just I'm surprised at the people I trained. They were teenagers, and they didn't need much like coaching on the hand or did much saying. So like, you know, there are some, and it really depends where you grow and people you meet and like how you interact. And what I mean by how you interact is like, you know, because like you ever heard about the people you interact with, sometimes you kind of embody yourself around and your mind kind of stimulates by the people that are around you. Because like
Right.
I don't know if you're much of like a energy, spiritual or a person, but like, you know, it does happen, but it's less and less talked about. And it's like, you know, if you're around those multiple types of people, you're bound to adapt to that type of area. So like if you're around people who are older than you're more to be a little more wiser than your people. Like honestly, like I was in high school, you know, I hanged out with people in high school because you know that was the only people I knew the most, and that's common.
Right.
That's common. So like now that been out of high school for about almost 11 years actually, because I got out in 2013. So
right.
You know, so like, and now it's like, you know, like I said, the world's your oyster. So now you just, you know, you start getting jobs, and then you meet all these people who are like 10 years older than you, 7 years older than you, even kids who are just younger than you, and like you start to like, okay, so we got the same mindset, we got the same, projects, we got the same majors, you know, we're interested in art, we're interested in wanting to do radio, talking, you know, doing sports, you know, like you start to learn all these things, especially when you're in a working business like a union or a restaurant, because then you start to realize, okay, so just because I'm this age, it doesn't mean, you know, I'm the smartest. It just means I have a sense of awareness to know what I want to do. And then there's other people out there who are also in that same alignment because they've been around those type of people.
Right.
You know, like, so like nowadays, like, you know, I'm like, so I just turned like 30. And like, you know, I know people who are younger than me. I know people who are older than me. And it's just like, you know, okay, so the people younger than me, maybe like 3 out of 10 get me. So, you know, I talk to them more, do that. And then there are people older than me. It's like, okay, there's about 20 of them, and only like 10 of them get me. You know what? We're just gonna go 11. 10, doing half is cliche. So we're just 11 of them know more of me than the other 9. So it's like, okay, so I communicate with them more. So like, it's a whole mishmash. It's a big bag of trail mix. You know, I know them more and more, so I just communicate with them. It just becomes a whole thing. So like all these different generations are just this is a networking society. Once you get into that moment, that field,
Right.
once you're in that position, it becomes a networking world. You know, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is not my world. This is not my universe." Well, my boy, my girl, you're living in it, so you better learn how to adapt because you know what, God put you on this earth for a reason. So it's time to start understanding where your place is, or else nothing's going to get achieved. And with that along the line, you need to learn how to get certain things in order and on track. And like I said, I know it's easier said than done. You know, honestly, you know, anyone can say what they need to, but like getting to that point is it's a very long process. And I was trying to refuse myself from saying long because it was just more of like, okay, we know it's long, but like, you know, where can you start? What keeps you going?
Right.
So this is why I'm saying build your motivation. What keeps you on that track to what you want to do? And it's very challenging. It's very challenging because you know, you want to do this way, but like sometimes it doesn't work out and you don't want to abuse it, but you also don't want to lose the opportunity. So that's why I'm saying it's very insightly challenging. So
yeah,
and I'm getting that, and I'm learning, and I'm adapting. And the thing is, I'm excited to always learn. You know I'm not the smartest person in the universe, and you know what? I'm not trying to be the smartest person in the universe. I'm just trying to be the best person I can be.
well, you're trying to be versed in your craft. You know, like this is obviously a new challenge for you. It's a new chapter in Aaron's life. You know, when you finally settle into this a lot more, you know, you're gonna excel at it because you know this is just your more or less your rough draft. You know what I'm saying? And you know, in time, creativity will come. New ideas, different you know, different settings, road shows, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. Getting some feedback on your live good. So, you know, it's just I don't know. I just like to keep things going, you know, like I said, I redeveloped what I'm doing, you know, which I think is going to work. You know, as far as this goes, like what you're doing, like I said, I think it's great what you're doing. You just got to kind of, you know, put it together a little more. And, you know, I'm not saying present the same show to your public every week. Just consistency works.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Consistency, simplicity. No need to complex things. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
You know, which, you know, in the beginning, people that I was involved with, you know, tried to make things more complex for me when that they actually had to be, which I just kind of, you know, chewed that off, you know?
Honestly, yeah. To me, it was more of like, it was kind of to the extent where it's like, you know, I never knew who was going to, you know, like fully be, you know, on my side when it came to the occasion.
Right.
You know, who was gonna like, you know, accept the idea of what I was doing, and who was gonna be like, oh, this is not really real. You know, this guy's just trying to be a show off. This guy's just trying to see he's like, you know, sweet little angel. It's not all about exactly if you're being like a sweet little angel or you're just trying to like, you know, you're doing what's the best, and you know, you're not like thinking of like, thinking of like a strong intent of like just saying it, but like you're trying to make things happen and you're trying to do as much good as you can. Obviously, we're no Superman around here, but
Right.
we can only do the best we can. And like for those of you who don't know, you probably already have known, but like I started to like come with the idea to make things as public to do with small businesses because of COVID, because a lot of things were suffering. And this is the people who haven't heard of that. I've mentioned this multiple times. I just wanted to rephrase the occasion because a lot of people are suffering, and it's just like it was a really hard time, to a lot of people.
Sure.
And it's like the way I thought about it is like maybe I can try to do the best I can to like make things happen. Like I said, I know I can't do like everything, but at least I can put the word out and make a better influence on the occasion. At least it will make a better enlightenment. And like I said, this is a process I had to kind of like stridely keep going with because like what, if you have a passion for something, you shouldn't stop it. I know there'll be roadblocks, I do
Yeah.
understand that, and there'll be many roadblocks, and as humans we're going to go through these tough decisions and situations, but like we have to understand that like I said, it's a process that we're all going through, and you know what, a lot of us are not going to like it,
Right.
but like a lot of us have to understand that it's the part of where we're going. But we just have to know that if nothing is difficult in your path, then there's no growth process, because to make a growth process there has to be something difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm not
has to be that bump in the road.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like it has to be. The road has to be a little bit rocky, and then you know what? There's maybe that weekend it'd be like, okay, it's all smooth. The pavement's all smooth. We're all cool, and like you know what? You deserve that smooth because you know what? You put in the work. You put in the gravel. You put in the the tar to make that happen.
Right. But then you also come back to that block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That one loose piece of gravel. And then
One that got away.
Right, exactly. But then you have to gradually smooth that piece of gravel and get back up on your feet and keep on moving down the road. I mean, listen, when I was coming up as a photographer and I started gaining a little more notoriety, all eyes were on me. Everybody was like within that industry, locally anyway, was wondering what the hell is John Vincent up to next? Who's the next pretty girl he's gonna pull out of the hat? And then she's on her way as a model. You know what I mean? I had a lot of girls,
dreams, right?
lot of girls that I have dealt with that were amateurs eventually went on to bigger and better things. I mean, I may not be the only stop, but I was that first stop.
No, that's good.
And that was the one that put them in the public eye. And then a lot of them took the ball and ran with it. A lot of them took the ball and ran the other way with it. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
They, either, you're going to do something with, it's just like going to school. Either you're going to do something with your knowledge or you're not. There's really no in between. I mean, I could tell you 75 kids that I went to high school with got college degrees, the 4 years, and then went on to something else and went on to something else. And they're still no better than you or I, busting our humps day in and day out. So,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, in a perfect world,
of course not.
You go to college, you want to get a job that you're trained for. You broke your ass for 4 years or 8 years, at that point you're mental because, there's a lot of long nights in college, not just
the night classes, but
right. But, everything that goes along with college, it's a rough road. That's where the majority of your bumps in the road come in. You know, because at that point, you're away from your families for the first time. You're running wild.
I want to touch up on that what you mentioned about, away from your families. So I've joined a church back in 2014. It was called Shore Vineyard.
Okay.
And then there was a branch off. They branched off and became Boardwalk Vineyard. So it was like a branch off. A couple of the deacons became pastors, and they broke off into, like I said, another place, and they did it at their house. And then they eventually got their own, facility to do their worships and their sermons.
Mm-hmm.
And so every October, Columbus Day weekend, we would start to plan a trip to Three Springs, and it's like a beautiful in PA. It's a beautiful mountains, a lot of farm area, wide open, horseback riding, all these different things, and we stayed at a nice little like country mansion, and it was like they had like a farmhouse there, a nice country, like I said, country mansion where we all, roomed in, slept in. They had like a basketball court there. Up there, they had like a cornfield, apple picking.
Right. Probably sat at a big table and ate your breakfast, lunch. And
there was a couple of tables in the area where, so they had the breakfast, they had lunch, they had dinner, at different times and stuff like that. So like, so they give us each like a little necklace, a card thing.
Okay.
And it would be like, it would show like a little schedule on the back. And it would be like, okay, so breakfast this time, free time from 1 to 5. And then, you got to, you had worship at this time. Sorry. There was breakfast, there was worship, and then you got free time from 1:15 to 5 o'clock, and then you do worship again. You do dinner first, and then you did worship. So like it was a bunch of like different times to when this happened. So there would at least be like 2 worships within the day of Saturday and Sunday, because Friday we would get there. Saturday and Sunday would be the whole day, and then we would leave Monday morning. So we always would try to do this on like a Columbus Day weekend, because it was just like a thing,
Right.
It was just a thing to do on a Columbus Day weekend. So we would do that, and then like I said, so like it was a moment where we felt like it is a family thing, but like most of the time I went, I wasn't with my like family, so like I felt like I was just kind of doing it me, just being me around other people. I mean, I knew these people, but like, they weren't like blood family. So it was just like, kind of just letting me know like, okay, so this is, how I interact. This is what I do when I'm like, sleeping. And it, like, yes, I could say it considers like I'm sleeping over my friend's house, but like, see, I didn't sleep with these people ever until like that weekend.
But you see, family doesn't necessarily have to be biological.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? Because I know I have close friends that have been my friends for God knows how long, that I'm closer with than some of my own family members. So it definitely isn't all about biology. You know what I mean? And, I wouldn't have it any other way. But I lost my train of thought.
These things happen. I mean, you wouldn't have it any other way, but
I definitely wouldn't have it any other way. But I mean, I'm at a point in my life where, the people that are closest to me aren't exactly family members. I mean, they're like my family, but they're not, they're not blood relatives. And
you gained a personal relationship with these people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, that's something that works for me.
See, that's why I do like encourage a lot of people or influence a lot of people to make the occasion on, is that you need to put yourself out there and really know that this is you. I'm not saying like parade yourself saying, I want friends, I want family, I want, this and that.
Right.
But, so like, I'm just, pointing out, it's like, really just what I mean by putting yourself out there is like, get involved with things, obviously with school it was easy because you got to join soccer clubs, drama club, chess clubs. So like that was their way of saying putting themselves out there. But like I said, once you're out in the real world, it's like, okay, get involved, volunteer somewhere, or just do like, but like, I'm not saying like totally exhaust yourself, but like just go for things that, seem interesting and you don't like it. All right, try something else another week or something like that, But like, yeah, so there's a balance. See, I'm always gonna put that balance in there because it's very important. You don't want to ever overdo something and you ever don't want to do too less. Because then you're not gonna like I know the usual thing most people like, nowadays working, we're working a lot, we're getting money, we're saving, we're paying bills and stuff like that. As you get older, that's just a thing as far as like just general living. You're
Right.
getting food for yourself. You're doing the best you can. You're doing the general best you can. However
Yeah.
that is. And everyone's at different levels. Some people are at same levels, but like and it's just know what works for you. But like at the same time, while you're generally living, you just want to know if there's a way you can make other things happen. And you know what? By doing that, it's putting yourself out there. And so with that being said, it's like, okay, so know you, how you live, what you do, what you're adapting with. How are you going to put those things into motion? How are you going to put that in order? And how are you going to do it every day, every week, every
Right.
month, and most importantly, every year?
Yeah.
So it's just a follow up, follow from the year before. It's just how it works. So, um, so we're just generally gonna, like I said, is doing a big motion shorts. We're talking about the little things, getting the general motion in there, and we're putting things out there as, we're going forward with it. Because like I said, we're looking to do big things, but like I said, we're taking step by step and we're being, as productive as we can be. So, with that being said, like I said, we're continuing the motion. We're gonna try to make things happen. And you know what? We're just gonna keep moving. So I want to thank our friend John Vincent for joining us here as our engineer tonight. And like I said, be prepared for season 6 for Fatty Funhouse. And things are going to be swelling well.
Which
So
I believe that will be September 4th at 8 o'clock. I'm pretty much securing my guest this weekend, and we'll see what happens.
oh yeah, and one more thing. So we are hoping to start our first episode mid-September. And as that's being said, we are trying to get other people who are like, I have a couple people who want to be guest speaking, want to talk about their motion, small business owners, just general people who are willing to show that compassion and really show a drive to want to persuade the way forward. So we're looking for people who really to drive that passion really strong. So like I said, we'll be spotting it out and we'll be putting the word out. So you just give us a ring, give us a shoot text, and like I said, we're gonna say so. Let's keep it going. We're good. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay.